Boom. There was a deafening explosion, and even the ground began to tremble. At the very center of the explosion, a figure flew out with billowing thick smoke, smashed into the dense jungle, its body slashed wantonly among the thick branches, leaving very shallow scratches on the exposed body. The figure barely stopped until it rolled several times on the ground and hit a big tree. Cough cough cough. The smoke dissipated, revealing Li Yiming's slightly embarrassed figure. It's really merciless. Is this the strength of a first-level adventurer? I thought Tsubaki's previous battle scene was enough to make people think deeply, but now it looks like I was too naive. It's really scary. Caressing his chest, Li Yiming coughed slightly, with faint blood in his saliva. He supported the tree trunk and stood up. The burning pain in his chest was almost suffocating. Just the aftermath of the explosion from the attack turned him into what he is now. LV.5 adventurers are really scary. Li Yiming quickly regained his ability to move by stopping the bleeding through breathing techniques. He looked up at the place where he flew out before. If there were no accidents, the members of the Loki family would quickly chase after him. Although he would not worry about his life being in danger if he was caught, under normal circumstances, as long as you are not from the Dark Faction members and family members are not allowed to kill each other. Of course, it's okay for no one to know like Li Yiming killed those scumbags back then. As long as Li Yiming reveals his identity, with the reputation of He Faith's family, his life will probably be saved, but it is not clear whether he will suffer other injuries. It's impossible to put your life in the hands of others, isn't it? Let's take the opportunity to leave here. After looking in that direction unwillingly, Li Yiming immediately turned around and galloped towards Rivera town without hesitation. In this situation, only Tsubaki can save herself. I just don't know whether he can successfully escape from this jungle and return to the residence of the Faith family. At this time, Li Yiming didn't hold back at all, whether it was the stripes or the transparent world, they had already played their role in the first place. His whole body turned into a black shadow, constantly flickering in the forest. SHH. Suddenly, a familiar sound came from the sky, causing Li Yiming's expression to change suddenly. The strong sense of threat made him subconsciously jump to the side, and almost the moment he left that position, a figure fell from the air and directly smashed the ground to collapse. A range of tens of meters around was affected, and a large number of trees and vegetation collapsed. It was enveloped by thick smoke again. Ah, did you actually dodge it? It really surprised me. It's really strange that I can do this even though I feel that I'm only at the upper level of LV.2 in terms of breath. In the smoke, Diona walked out slowly carrying a pair of swords that did not match her petite figure, and looked at Li Yiming with doubts and curiosity. She didn't act in a hurry, but asked a little bit jumpily, "Hey, little brother, don't run away in such a hurry, although I admire your courage to peep, but since it was Shen who asked me to take you down, then there is no other way. Can you tell me what level of adventurer you are, and how did you do it just now?" "I've said that I'm not a peeping pervert. I just went to take a bath in the pool. Who knows where you are? If you knew, I wouldn't go there if you were killed." Li Yiming, who didn't answer the question, stood up slowly, and saw three other figures approaching from the corner of his eye. Diona Salut, a member of the Loki familia, an Amazon race, a LV.5 adventurer, titled Great Severe. Thyan Salut, a member of the Loki family, an Amazon race, a LV.5 adventurer, titled Rage Snake. Isai Wallenstein, a member of the Loki family, a human with fairy blood in her body, is currently suspected of being a LV.5 adventurer, titled Sword Fairy. Riphiavrides, a member of the Loki family, an elf race, a LV.3 adventurer, titled Thousands of Fairies, but her firepower is comparable to LV.5. No matter which one it is a very troublesome character. If he had to choose, Li Yiming would probably choose Lefia Adam as his opponent. After all, the latter is just a magic idiot, a rookie mage who forgets to chant magic whenever he is frightened. It's a pity that this is not a serious duel, but a unilateral crush. Although I would like to trust you, little brother, there is no other way. This is what Dione asked for. If you let you go like this, she will definitely be very angry, so why don't you give up your resistance and wait for us investigate the matter clearly. If it really has nothing to do with you, I will definitely let you go. As for this period, I will try my best to ensure your safety, so you can rest assured. Perhaps in order to confirm the authenticity of her words, Tiona held the great double-blade Ulga with one hand, and patted her chest with the other hand to assure her. It's just a pity that her meager capital really doesn't have the slightest convincing power. It's really troublesome. It seems that there is no way to get better today. Li Yiming sighed helplessly, then pulled out the sunwheel knife and pointed it at Diona in front of her. The latter showed a surprised expression again. Oh, do you mean to resist to the end? Of course, I don't have a habit of being controlled by others. If you don't have the ability to fight, at least you must have the consciousness to die. After the words fell, Li Yiming's eyes became deep. This sentence also stunned the four girls present, and then there was an inexplicable taste in their eyes. The way they looked at the man in front of them also changed. Can a person who can speak such philosophical words really do voyeurism? For a moment, the three people headed by Tiona all showed expressions of thought, and only Aisi remained expressionless, making it impossible to see what she was thinking. At this time, the wind is blowing. Grasping the moment when everyone was stunned, Li Yiming disappeared directly in place, turned around and fled towards the distance. P.S. It's a new day. Continue to ask for collections, flowers, evaluation tickets, and monthly tickets for support. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 61 failed to escape and was arrested on the spot, thanks to the monthly ticket of Yuan Ching 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 Dizzy Eyes. There are gusts of wind whistling in my ears. Li Yiming's footsteps kept moving, not daring to stop at all. He didn't know whether the Loki family had caught up, but as long as he ran to Rivera town, he would be completely safe, and now at least he had to find Tsubaki. If he had known that there would be so many things tonight, he would not have chosen anything. Although it is indeed a feast for the eyes, the price that needs to be paid after the benefits are really unbearable. Whoosh! After galloping for a while, Li Yiming finally left the forest. In the distance, the flickering lights in Rivera town have been imprinted in the eyes, and the next part of the journey is all plains, and there is no possibility of covering up the figure, so the only way to increase the speed is to rush forward before being caught up. Into the town. Not daring to delay at all, Li Yiming hurried towards the direction of Rivera town. However, almost the next moment, there was a terrible sound of breaking wind behind him. My desire immersed in the sea of heart, my desire conceived in the sea of heart destiny comes. Lost body shape, deprived of fangs, turned into a king snake. Through the sea, across the land, subvert the world. Master fate, defeat fate, ravage fate. Instant petrification. A loud voice sounded, and then a ray of light shrouded from behind. Li Yiming had no time to dodge, and was shot by the ray of light in an instant. He only felt his body was extremely stiff, and his coherent movements suddenly stopped at this moment. The most outrageous point is the sudden stop, and even the inertia completely disappears. His whole body was as still as a statue, his thoughts and eyes could still move, but he couldn't control his body, no matter how hard he struggled, it was useless. Binding magic, Hormungandr. Li Yiming, who knew Shen better, murmured softly, with an ugly expression on his face. The Amazons are better at melee combat, but that doesn't mean they can't possess magic. It's just that because of their fighting style, the magic value is too low, and the magic power is not too strong. However, he is still a LV.5 adventurer, so it is more than enough to imprison a small LV.1. This is because Li Yiming does not have the ability to develop neither magic power nor abnormal resistance. The resistance to magic is almost zero, so it is very easy to get hit, and he can't break free. After all, what Shen used was only binding magic, not mental interference. The situation is not good. It seems that there is really no escape. I almost let you run away. Words full of inexplicable meaning sounded quietly, and then three figures rushed out from the forest, stood directly around Li Yiming, and surrounded him. Rifia, who is not good at speed, came late by herself, and couldn't help panting after stopping. The girl looked at Li Yiming with a hint of violence and shame, obviously feeling ashamed of her short-term wavering just now. This kind of inconspicuous man is definitely not a good person. Brother, you are so interesting. I was about to believe what you said, but you actually used words to deceive us. What a cunning man. Tiona, who was still the friendliest, stepped forward, bent over to Li Yiming, and said with a smile. No matter how you look at it, her expression at this time is full of teasing. Knowing that there is no way to escape, Li Yiming also completely gave up the little juju in his heart. He was just trying it out. Now it seems that it is a whimsical thing for a lower-level adventurer to want to escape under the nose of a first-level adventurer. Okay, I surrender. I really won't run away this time. Can you untie it for me first? Being controlled by the binding magic, the feeling of being motionless is really uncomfortable. However, the instigator Shen didn't seem to have any intention of treating him as a captive preferentially. The lessons learned from the past are still there. Li Yiming's methods are more cunning than ordinary adventurers, so it's best to control it like this. Better. The magic will be lifted for you later. Now answer our questions first. You dare to spy on us taking a bath. It's so daring. Which family do you belong to? I want to report this to the Lord God of your family and make a disgusting guy like you pay the price. Shen's words were merciless, and in a few words, Li Yiming was labeled as a pervert. How can Li Yiming, who has been upright all his life, accept this kind of slander? I've said it before, I'm not a pervert, and I didn't spy on you. Who knew that there were people in that pool, and the safe floor is a public area? Are you only allowed to go there, and others are not? What's the point? The big deal is that I will go back to the ground with you, and then confront the gods. Human beings cannot lie in front of the gods. At that time, as long as they are questioned, the truth will be revealed. Li Yiming's words made Shen slightly taken aback, and then realized the feasibility of this method. However, Loki is a little more difficult to deal with. That's for later. We will verify the method you said, but now, in order to avoid deeper misunderstandings, it's better for you to tell the family you belong to. All right, I'm a newcomer to the He Faith family, and I'm here with the leader. Her Faith family. P.S. It's a new day. Continue to ask for collections, flowers, evaluation tickets, and monthly tickets for support. The bad news of getting up in the morning, flowers, and monthly tickets have been voted so much, it's too much to add more. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 62 Ace, Can You Fight Me? Thanks to the monthly pass of Chen. Black Cat Ziobai. So, Yiming, you were discovered while peeping, and then you were arrested by the Loki family on the spot. In the town of Rivera, in He Faith's family workshop. Originally, Tsubaki was sleeping. After all, he entered the dungeon from the surface and came all the way to the 18th safe floor. Although he did not encounter too much trouble, he still felt tired to some extent. In addition, he participated in the maintenance of equipment in the evening, so of course he had to have a good rest. However, When someone woke her up from her slumber, she saw the scene of Li Yiming being carried back by Tiona of the Loki familia in a daze. Tsubaki's drowsiness disappeared instantly. After understanding the cause and effect of the incident, Chun looked at Li Yiming with strange eyes. It didn't look like he was looking at a scumbag, as always, it contained a hint of ridicule. I really didn't see it, Yiming, you were honest on the surface, but you actually stayed up in the middle of the night and went to the wild to peek at girls taking a bath. If Lord Shangshen knew about this, he would be very happy. Oh no, I'm sure you'll be disappointed. You just slipped your tongue. The binding magic on his body still hasn't been lifted, and Li Yiming has no way to use actions to refute Tsubaki's words full of ridicule and gloating. As expected, the leader of my family is also very dishonest most of the time. Captain, don't say these misleading words anymore at this time. I have explained it countless times. I am not peeping. How can anyone peek under the water and be discovered so easily by others? Is not this contradictory? Who knows? Maybe Yiming and you want to see some special scenery. Tsubaki's only remaining eye twitched slightly, and that look was as irritating as it could be. Stare. Li Yiming stopped talking, and just stared deathly at his head. Chun, who was stared a little too much, could only restrain his smile, and shook his head solemnly. Okay, I'm not joking. In fact, I also believe that Yiming, you won't do that kind of thing. After all, every day with you I stay together and have absolutely no need to spy on other women. Haha. There is one more narcissistic shortcoming. Sure enough, only after you are fully familiar with each other, you will understand what kind of person she is, and the image shown in front of others is all a disguise. I'm really sorry, everyone, my kid has caused you trouble. After some brief teasing, Tsubaki's gaze fell on Tiona and the others. I'm sorry for such an unpleasant incident, and I already understand the general story. Although this kid just joined Faith Toss the family is not long, but I can still guarantee his character, so there may be some kind of misunderstanding. How about this? Put this matter aside for the time being, and when we all return to Orario, I will ask Lord God to invite God Loki to come, and everyone will explain the matter clearly in person. You are also clear that human beings cannot lie in front of the gods. When the time comes, whether this kid is going to spy on you, you will be able to figure it out completely. What do you think? It's completely different from the unscrupulous ones before. When it comes to serious business, or external affairs, Tsubaki's image becomes very capable. Neither favored Li Yiming, nor directly issued a conclusion, but chose a more moderate method, so that no one can find any faults in such a fair solution. Even Chen could only remain slightly silent at this time. Hey, Chen, actually, I also feel that this little brother doesn't look like a pervert peeping at a girl's bath, and he has missed Tsubaki as a guarantee. Why don't we wait until we return to Olele, where Loki and Faith God you have proved it in front of me? What do you think, Rifia? Tiona continued to persuasion, which also shook Shen. On the other hand, Rifia, the youngest girl, was a little at a loss when she was asked, and it was a bit too embarrassing for her to make a decision. The girl's eyes fell on Li Yiming, and she recalled the scene in the pool again in her mind. Her cheeks became rosy in an instant, her eyes were filled with moisture, and she looked very shy. After all, for girls, that is a very serious matter. However, since it is impossible to confirm whether the other party is a pervert, it can only be temporarily shelved. I listened to the elders. Well then, I will listen to you, Captain Tsubaki. I will truthfully tell Loki what happened today. If this guy is really a peeping pervert by then, I hope the Faith family can hand him over to us. If it was a misunderstanding, I will apologize to him in person. As expected of an Amazonian, Shin perfectly interpreted what straightforwardness is. No problem, if this kid is really that kind of person, I won't let him go, and I will definitely give the Loki family an explanation. Well, I believe in your reputation, Captain Chun, so let's take our leave first. Shin nodded slightly towards Tsubaki, and then prepared to leave with the other three girls. Before leaving, she naturally didn't forget to remove the binding magic on Li Yiming, which made the boy who had been stiff for a long time finally regain his ability to move. Let's go, Ace. After doing all this, Shin called Isai to leave. However, the blonde girl had no intention of leaving. She stared straight at where Li Yiming was. Her face was as calm as usual, making it impossible to see what she was thinking. Next moment. Can you fight me? Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 63. Since it's a lady's request, there's nothing I can do about it. Thanks for the monthly pass of frenzy. Can you fight me? Ace's voice was very clear in this silent room. Shin, who was turning around to leave, suddenly stopped, turned to look at Ace who was standing there, opened her mouth to say something, but recalled the girl's stubborn character. Obviously she was not able to speak. Among the entire Loki family, only Riveria's words could change Ace. There is no way, although I don't know what Isai means, but Shin can only stay for a while, wanting to hear what Isai thinks. Sorry, Miss Ace, I don't quite understand what you're saying. Everyone in the room focused their eyes on Aisi, feeling Aici's scorching gaze. Li Yiming subconsciously glanced at himself, as if there was nothing special about him. He couldn't figure out what this cute lady Jianji was thinking at all. Hearing Li Yiming's question, Aisi was silent for a moment. After a little organizing the language, the blonde girl slowly said, "You are very strong. LV.1 can avoid Diona's attack, but you have the ability not weaker than LV.2, you are very strong, I want to fight with you, you fight." Repeating this request again sounds very abrupt. However, Li Yiming knew that Isai's personality was that of the type who said what she said and would not beat around the bush at all, so this kind of seemingly demanding words were not impolite, but she was not that proficient in how to deal with people. Or do not understand at all. So it's not that angry, but it's obviously impossible to agree. What a joke, he is not Ace's opponent now. The gap formed by the gap in hard power cannot be made up by skills and magic. If the difference is only one level, Li Yiming still has the confidence to be evenly matched, but if there is a gap of 3 to 4 levels, then forget it. Make up the gap. What's more, although Aisi did not break the limit every time she upgraded, she still had a basic ability value of 800 or 900. Hee, hit me on the head. Although it's a bit embarrassing to say that, I'm really not your opponent. I just became an adventurer not long ago, and my adventurer level is only LV.1. There's no need to fight me, right? No, please fight with me. Isai said the words calmly again. The girl's gaze towards Li Yiming was filled with indescribable passion. As a senior adventurer, she knows exactly how powerful an adventurer with the ability to leapfrog is, especially when she has just become an adventurer and has a strength comparable to LV.2. This abnormal level of strengthening speed even broke the record created by Ace herself. You know, even if she is called the most talented, it took a year to upgrade from LV.1 to LV.2, but Li Yiming now has with such a powerful strength, it will definitely not be too long before the upgrade. Also because of this, Aisi wanted to know why the other party was so powerful. Loki and Riveria told me that you can't secretly inquire about other adventurers' secrets, especially those related to skills, magic and becoming stronger. But I have a reason to become stronger, even if you can't tell me, please still fight with me, please. After the words fell, Aisi bowed down to make a request with a sincere face. Tiona and the others on the side had already froze in place. Shock was written all over the faces of the three girls. It was the first time for them to hear Aisi say so many words at once, and at the same time, they also understood AIC's true intentions. Do you want to find out why Li Yiming is stronger than ordinary people through fighting? It's really straightforward. Loki and Reveria told you not to ask, so you just ask? Thinking of this, no matter whether it was the three daughters of the Loki family, or Li Yiming and Chun, the corners of their mouths twitched slightly, and they all looked a little bad. I have to say, Ace is really a bit upright. And the desire to become stronger is really too strong, and he even hesitates to ask adventurers who are weaker than himself. Is this really no problem? Especially Rifia, who saw the scene for the first time, she really doubted that Ace would be deceived. This. Looking at the girl who was bent at 90 degrees in front of her with a very sincere attitude, Li Yiming subconsciously scratched her head, looking a little at a loss. He really couldn't cope with the situation in front of him. What do you think I'm doing? Jianji is inviting you to compete, but she didn't invite me. Whether you want to agree or not is up to you, and I won't interfere. Seeing that Li Yiming was looking at him, Chun waved his hand lightly, signaling him to make his own decision. This made it even more difficult for Li Yiming. Please. Ace pleaded again. This sentence was like the last straw that broke the camel's back. Originally, Li Yiming was a little hesitant, but after seeing AIC's gesture, it would be a little unreasonable to refuse. In addition, not long ago, I just showed the girl in front of me, so this round of discussion can be regarded as a small compensation. After all, nothing is free, isn't it? There is no other way, then, well, let's have a brief discussion. P.S. Today's update is over, and more will be added later. Thank you readers for your support. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 64 9 Magic Princess Reveria, Wolf Bird, 24,000 flowers plus more. Li Yiming agreed to Aisai's request. This made the girl who was bowing at a 90-degree angle while burying her head on the ground raise her head instantly, her eyes sparkling with excitement that was rare. Rifia on the side also breathed a sigh of relief, her face still flushed, but she was also happy for Aisai. Although, she doesn't think Li Yiming can really help Ace become stronger. Don't be too happy. Although I agreed to compete with you, after all, the fundamental gap between us is still too large, so you may not be able to achieve the results you want. Do you understand what I mean? It's okay, I will suppress my strength to the same level as yours. Aisi immediately made a promise, as if she was afraid of Li Yiming's repentance. Hearing the slightly urgent tone, the latter sighed helplessly. At this point, there is no other words to say, so I can only bite the bullet. Then let's start now. It's getting late, finish early and go back to rest early. There is no suitable venue in Rivera town, so we can only go to the wild. I know there is a good place, come with me. After finishing speaking, Aisai couldn't wait to reach out and pull Li Yiming to run out of the town, but the latter reacted quickly and dodged away, not being held back by the girl in front of her. Looking at the suspicious eyes of the other party, Li Yiming explained, "You lead the way ahead, I can follow." The Loki family is very famous in the entire Orario family, and the high-level adventurers among the family are even more well-known. If other people see Aisai dragging him to run outside, it may be known what will happen tomorrow. In order to avoid more trouble, it would be better to pay a little attention. Aisi nodded, half understood, no longer entangled in this problem, turned around and led the way. Others also wanted to see the situation of the sparring, and followed them in no particular order. When they left the He Faith family workshop, they caused quite a commotion. After all, whether it is Ace, Diona, Dione, or Tsubaki, they are all well known in Orario. Now that the two factions are gathering together and heading out of the town, is there any important offensive activity? Most people's curiosity was aroused, but they didn't dare to follow up and watch. The dungeon is no better than Olelai. Even if you have no malicious intentions, other people will never allow you to stay nearby. If unnecessary misunderstandings are caused, it will be a real fight if there is a disagreement. Therefore, without the slightest hindrance, a group of 6 people quickly left the town of Rivera. However, when they arrived at the entrance of the town, 2 figures were walking in this direction. One of them was Riveria, whom she had seen in the Mistress of Abundance, and the other was a werewolf in leather armor with short gray hair. The tail behind him is constantly shaking with the movement of walking. The other party obviously noticed them too, and the footsteps of people on both sides stopped at the same time. "Ace, Rifia, who are you?" Riveria subconsciously asked, and her eyes swept over Li Yiming and Chun, and the beautiful and mature elf nodded friendly. It was the werewolf next to her, with his hands in his pockets and an expression on his face as if someone owed him money. "Master Riveria, why are you here?" After seeing who was coming, Rifia trotted all the way to Riveria's side, with a respectful look on her face, and strong admiration hidden in her eyes. For this royal family of elves, who is also the strongest mage of Orario, Rifia admires her very much and wants to be like her from the bottom of her heart. "We are family, Rifia, don't be so restrained, just call me Riveria." Rifia's respect is obviously unbearable, although she has said it many times, but the other party still does her own way. This kind of maturity, it's so true that people can't get closer. "Where are you going?" "If I remember correctly, shouldn't you take a bath at the waterfall? I heard the movement of the battle just now, so I came out with Bert to find you." Nothing serious happened, right? The rich experience made Riveria realize that the atmosphere at the scene was wrong, so she opened her mouth to ask. "Now that it's blocked, there's nothing you can do about it. The main reason is the aura on Riveria. I am afraid that no one in the entire Loki family can resist. Even Finn, who is the head of the regiment, is controlled by Riveria to death. It is not a problem to call this 9-demon princess the chief steward of the Loki family." Therefore, Rifia didn't dare to hide it at all, and told everything that happened before. Riveria didn't react too much, but when the werewolf bird heard that Ace was suspected of being peeped, his face instantly became very fierce. "You brat, you dare to do such a thing, you really deserve to die." Bert's figure instantly attacked Li Yiming. He turned into a black shadow, his eyes were scarlet, like a hungry wolf in the dark, and his whole body exuded a sense of terrifying oppression. The transparent world opened up in an instant, and Li Yiming was highly concentrated. However, in his line of sight, he couldn't fully see Bert's movements. He could only notice an afterimage flashing by, and when he realized it again, the other party had already appeared in front of him. Bert straightly raised his right leg and kicked Li Yiming's chest violently. At the very moment, a figure appeared in front of him, the blade in his hand collided with the metal boots under Bert's feet, and sparks shot out. The atmosphere at the scene instantly became tense. P.S. 24,000 flowers plus updates. Thank you readers for your support. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 65 Weakness and ignorance are not obstacles to survival, arrogance is, 27,000 flowers plus more. Hey, wouldn't it be impolite to attack my boy in front of me, the regiment leader, and the person involved hasn't spoken yet? Why are you in such a hurry? After easily blocking the werewolf Bert's attack, a faint smile appeared on Tsubaki's face. However, if you really thought she was joking, you would be very wrong. Even if you are a member of the artisan family, you are absolutely not allowed to be provoked. Even if the target is the strongest family, Tsubaki will not feel afraid at all. Maybe there will be a gap between the two sides in terms of hard power, but if there is a real fight, the Loki family will not take much advantage, and the artisan family is not a joke. If they were more ruthless and had two magic swords in their hands, that kind of scene must be very spectacular. Bird, you are too reckless, quickly put away your weapon. In order to prevent the situation from becoming more tense, Reveria hastily and seriously yelled, and at the same time, magic power surged on her body, and the aura of the strongest magician also emerged. Bird, who was still surrounded by a fierce aura, felt the change of Reveria, and the scarlet color in his eyes gradually dissipated. He slowly lowered his right foot, and finally gave Li Yiming a fierce look. "Tch, I only know the trash hiding behind women." Bird. Reveria's stern voice sounded again. This time Bert didn't dare to continue to hey, he could only put his hands in his pockets again, and return to Reveria's side. The conflict just broke out and ended in a very short time. Li Yiming took a deep breath and forcibly suppressed the anger in his heart. The strong sense of powerlessness just now made him almost suffocate. Sure enough, the first-level adventurer spared no strength, and it was impossible for him to fight back at all. If Chun was not here today, he would have been beaten severely. This is the reason for the lack of strength. The weak will always be beaten. No matter which world you are in, only the strong can have enough right to speak, so that others will not dare to bully you. Li Yiming will not speak harsh words, nor will he say anything about Hexi in the past 30 years. It does not make any sense, and it will only give others a chance to laugh at you. Never let other people know what you think. Likewise, never hate your enemies, for that will only cloud your judgment. In 2 years at most, he will reach LV6 level adventurer. At that time, he will no longer need to stand behind Tsubaki and be protected by her. Sorry. Reveria stepped forward to express her apology. Bert's behavior just now was really rude, so too many problem children gathered together, and it was really hard for her as the deputy head. If she hadn't been paying attention to everyone's situation at all times, these troubled children would have caused such troubles. No, there's nothing to apologize for. In the final analysis, my kid was rude first and made you laugh. Reaching out without slapping the smiling face, Chun slowly retracted the weapon. She doesn't have any prejudice against Reveria, and it's not the first time they've met, and they know each other very well, so there won't be any estrangement because of this matter. Just as Reveria didn't care about Li Yiming's behavior, Chun didn't particularly care about Bert's impulsiveness just now. They are all young and energetic lads, and any behavior seems to be expected. I have heard all the specific things from Rifia. Regarding today's matter, after discussing with Loki and God Faith, we will give a solution. That would of course be the best. Although there was some friction between the two sides, the conflict did not intensify under the handling of Reveria and Tsubaki. Of course, only they themselves know what each other thinks deep in their hearts. There were some small episodes in the middle, but the next itinerary will still not change. Li Yiming will not go back on what he promised, even if he was almost hurt just now. Soon, the group left the town of Rivera and found a plain with no people. The terrain here is wide enough to be used as a natural venue for sparring. Even if a fierce battle breaks out here, it will not affect the town or other areas. Stopping, Reveria led others to stand aside, leaving the central area to Li Yiming and Aisi. In fact, she also wanted to see what was so special about this newcomer who was so valued by Tsubaki, who was personally guided and brought to the safe floor. The moment Bert launched the attack before, Reveria clearly caught Li Yiming's completely disappearing breath. At that moment, the latter did not look like an adventurer who had received favors at all, and was no different from ordinary people. This made Reveria very curious. What kind of skill was that? Perhaps the Faith Familia of Het Faith have taken in an amazing newcomer. Tch, I really don't understand why Isai wants to fight with such a weak guy. He is obviously a man, but he only dares to hide behind a woman, and even follows her to the 18th floor. It's really hopeless. Guys without talent just need to hang around at the top. I really don't know where I am. Bird put his hands in his trouser pockets and looked at Aisi and Li Yiming in the field with a displeased expression. His words were barely concealed, and in such a silent environment, almost everyone at the scene heard them. Bird, you went too far today. Reveria reminded with narrowed eyes. However, this time, Bird did not give in, but pushed back stubbornly. It's too long-winded, old woman. If you hadn't blocked me, I would have killed that little character before. Don't point fingers at me anymore. Hearing this, Tiona and Rifia on the side were shocked. Today's Bird is too brave. He dared to talk to Reveria like that without drinking. Tsubaki also squinted her eyes, with a cold smile on her face. Rivalia, it seems that your daily work is indeed very busy. Sorry, Tsubaki, I made you laugh. No, it doesn't matter. I don't care what that werewolf kid said, and neither will Yiming. He is not someone who will be affected by these rumors. On the contrary, maybe I should thank you all. Some elusive words came out of Tsubaki's mouth. Her eyes stayed on Li Yiming's body, looking at that lonely and resolute back, and she also recalled the words that Li Yiming said in person when she was learning forging. Weakness and ignorance are not obstacles to survival, arrogance is. He doesn't care about other people's opinions, he will always maintain enough humility, and naturally he will not be affected by other people's words. P.S. 27,000 flowers plus updates. Thank you readers for your support. It will probably be on the shelves tomorrow. Here is a small request for the first order. I hope that readers who like this book will support it. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 66 The Swordsmanship Competition with the Sword Girl, the surprised Loki family. Just as Tsubaki thought, Li Yiming caught Bert's words, but didn't care at all. He doesn't care about the way other people look at him, and he won't be affected by other people's words. It's just words, and there is no way to affect his beliefs. If it is just a few rumors that shake the thoughts deep in my heart, thereby completely changing my life, or becoming decadent, then it proves that he is just a man of this level, and others may stronger than yourself, but it is impossible to be stronger than yourself forever. Great people are not born great, but show their greatness in the process of growing up. At this moment, Li Yiming's attention is all on Aisi. If he had chosen to compete with Aisi before because he had no way to refuse, then now, the thoughts in his heart have become extremely firm. He wanted to see how big the difference was between himself and the real strong. The overall combat effectiveness may not be as good, but will it be slightly inferior in other aspects? Miss Ace, do you want to have an overall sparring with me, or just a fencing sparring? If it's an overall sparring, I might not be your opponent. Ignoring other words around him, Li Yiming asked softly. He held his right hand towards the void, and the sun-will knife placed in the system backpack reappeared. It only looks like a sophisticated weapon, but naturally it can't compare with the Sword of Despair in Aisi's hand. After all, it was a weapon from the ancient Platinum Button family. A rapier with indestructible attributes, even though its power is slightly lower than other first-level equipment, it is not comparable to the sun-will knife in Li Yiming's hand. But as a rookie, it is very rare to be able to own such a weapon. Facing Li Yiming's inquiry, Aisi was slightly taken aback, and then responded simply, then let's make a brief discussion. Just what I want, let's get started. The simple conversation stopped abruptly, and the expressions of Li Yiming and Aisi became serious. Reveria, Tsubaki, and the others around heard the words, held their breath and stared at the two people in the center of the field, with a touch of expectation on their faces. Li Yiming and Aisi looked at each other face to face, holding their respective sword blades with their left hands. No verbal communication is required, both parties understand. The girl couldn't hold back her temper, sheathed the sword of despair at her waist, and then rushed towards Li Yiming. It could be seen that she deliberately suppressed her speed, and she only showed a level of LV.2, maybe it was don't want to let this discussion end hastily. Clang! There was a huge sonic boom as the blades collided. Li Yiming drew his knife to hold Isai's sword, even though the girl's strength was reserved, but the subconscious action was still extremely impactful, and the transmitted force still caused his feet to sink slightly into the ground. Isai didn't continue to move, but raised her head, and her eyes met Li Yiming's in the air. The latter inexplicably understood the meaning in the girl's eyes, and seemed to be asking whether the strength was appropriate. This feeling of being underestimated is really depressing, but the difference in strength cannot be ignored, so Li Yiming didn't force himself to hold on, but just raised the corners of his mouth slightly. "Come on, Miss Ace, don't worry about hurting me. Although it's just a sparring session, it's not a joke. It's normal to get injured. Don't you want to know what I'm best at? Show off your sword skills, and I'll do the same. I will also respond with my sword skills." The answer sounded from the nasal cavity. Subsequently, golden and sharp flowers bloom quietly in this night. These flowers are not real flowers, but formed by Isai's sharp swordsmanship, the sharp slashes. Under the decoration of this color, the opponent seems to be, as expected of a female adventurer who can be called a sword princess. In Li Yiming's eyes, AIC's swordsmanship is already superb, but it also contains many flaws. Eulali's adventurers have a common problem. The strength is indeed strong, but there is a slight lack of skills. More fighting methods are all based on the enhancement of ability values and powerful magic. The real skill there are very few masters. This can be seen from Isai's development ability swordsman. The level is only H, but this is also reasonable. Adventurers are not very good at fighting humans, they are better at fighting monsters in dungeons. More subtle techniques can only be of extremely limited help. Compared with those huge monsters with strong defenses, strength and speed are more useful. The moment he entered the battle, Li Yiming's basic attributes were doubled, and his bravery skills almost became his capital for leapfrogging battles. This is probably why he, a mere low-level adventurer, can make others feel that he is comparable to LV.2 reason for the level. Coupled with the blessings of breathing techniques, markings, and the penetrating world, this kind of increase is not just 1 + 1 = 2. Feeling the blade of the galloping sword, Li Yiming didn't panic at all. He could clearly see the grudge on AIC's body. While deliberately suppressing the strength and speed, the latter's attack was completely captured. No matter how sharp the sword technique is, it still doesn't pose much threat. Li Yiming is like a nobleman traveling through the flowers, his footsteps move slightly in place, the range is not large, but he dodges all of Isai's attacks. The whole process looks very elegant, people cannot help but shine. During this process, Li Yiming was not idle. He tried to draw the sword while dodging, all of which took advantage of Isai's flaws and went away. Unexpectedly, they were all resisted by the girl. But the effect Li Yiming wanted was achieved. His attacks made Aisi very uncomfortable, and sometimes he even deliberately resisted, and even his own rhythm was disrupted. Although Aisi still maintained a high-intensity attack frequency, as time went by, he still did not get what he imagined. Achievements. The two of them were in a stalemate like this, surrounded by all kinds of swords and swords. However, anyone with a discerning eye can see that Li Yiming, who is too low in adventurer level, is more relaxed in comparison, and even his breathing rate is not too disturbed. On the other hand, Isai always gives people a very uncoordinated feeling. No, it feels like Isai has been dragged into the opponent's rhythm. The so-called authorities are obsessed, but bystanders are clear. The first-level adventurers of the Loki family and Tsubaki could see clearly that at the moment the battle started, Isai briefly suppressed, but after Li Yiming defended for a while and started to counterattack, the situation changed completely. Isen's slight advantage is completely wiped out. Obviously, in terms of ability value, even if Isai is suppressed, she should have the upper hand. But no matter how he attacked, he couldn't achieve any results. Li Yiming's sword net was impenetrable, perfectly resisting all attacks. An attack that cannot achieve an effect is called an ineffective attack. They had captured more than one flaw exposed by Li Yiming, but because they couldn't perceive the latter's aura, their fighting instinct seemed to lose its effect at this moment. Even if AISI can sometimes discover subtle weaknesses based on experience, she will either be successfully avoided by Li Yiming, or interrupt AIC's offensive rhythm through attacks, and save the day from danger. Under the ebb and flow, it even gradually showed a decline. If this continues, the physical strength consumed by the attacker will increase exponentially. Shin said sharply, although AIC's stamina is much higher than that of the opponent, if the opponent leaks through the physical loss, then this sparring is undoubtedly a failure. She must predict the opponent's actions. That's totally impossible. Tiona rested her hands behind her head, the surprise on her face was not hidden. It's simply amazing. The little brother is usually very kind, and people can feel his strength and aura, but once he enters the fighting state, he seems to be a different person, whether it is murderous or attacking. Regardless of the aura that came out, it all disappeared and could not be captured at all. Even if I fight with him, at the same level, I probably won't be an opponent. In this case, I should only be able to crush him by virtue of the gap between strength and speed. This is also what others want to say. Without seeing it with their own eyes, they would never believe it. It is really unimaginable that someone can hide all their aura perfectly. Li Yiming didn't feel like a human being to them when they were fighting, but like a dead thing. That being said, Ace is not the type to give up easily. If she can't attack for a long time, she will keep going. As Essie's guardian since she was a child, Reveria has the most say. Yao thought that when she was a child, AISI used to carry everyone's luggage alone. Even though her small body was overwhelmed, she still didn't choose to ask for help or give up. In the end, she made herself exhausted and fell into a coma for 3 days and 3 nights. This is such a strong girl. Perhaps because of this strength, AISI became a first-level adventurer when she was 13 years old. But after such a long time, she has not grown further, which makes Isai very annoyed. Maybe it will become more and more urgent. In a sense, this little brother is really a strong man. He will definitely become a first-level adventurer in the future, maybe even surpass me and Finn. The Faith family has another pillars is really beautiful. Hee, thank you for the compliment, I think so too. After hearing Li Yiming being praised by Reveria, Tsubaki smiled from the bottom of his heart, as if he had been praised. To be precise, it is more gratifying than being recognized. Sure enough, watching the cubs I cultivated become stronger day by day, the sense of satisfaction is indescribable in words. I really look forward to the day when Li Yiming becomes the right-hand man of He Faith's family. Seeing Tsubaki's smug smile, Reveria shook her head slightly, without continuing to speak. Her eyes fell on Isai again, and she easily caught the girl's firm eyes. I hope that Ace can learn something useful through this exchange. Li Yiming and AISI couldn't know what the onlookers thought. In the middle of the field, Isai, who was unable to predict Li Yiming's movement trajectory for a long time, and whose swordsmanship began to become a little chaotic, became obviously more eager. Also because of this reason, she revealed more and more flaws. In fact, Isai's talent for fighting against people is very good, but due to Li Yiming's ability to hide her fighting spirit and the girl's self-restriction, it has been slow to achieve results. If there is no reservation, Li Yiming probably has no ability to fight back. However, it is just a sparring of swordsmanship. If Isai is the first to break the words she said before and unlock the reserved power, then there will be no doubt about the result of this sparring. The breath of the sun one shape round dance. Feeling the change in Isai, Li Yiming no longer kept his hands, and the sharp sword skills were displayed in his hands. With one blow, the sword of despair was shaken away, and then in the astonished eyes of everyone, the scorching sun's fire wrapped around the sun-wheel knife, cutting forward with a dazzling light. The sudden change made Aisi a little dazed, but she still made a move subconsciously. The wind pressure caused by the slash collided with Li Yiming's flaming slash, but Aisi, who was obviously bound by her own hands, was weaker. "What is that? Magic?" Rifia was full of surprise. "No, there is no magic power output, it's not magic, it's just pure swordsmanship, but it can create flames out of thin air, which is a terrifying temperature." As the strongest mage, Riveria looked at the scene in front of her with a serious expression, and her evaluation of Li Yiming was much higher. "This kind of swordsmanship is really terrible. It's a lie. Can swordsmanship create an energy attack that is not weaker than magic? This is too stupid, and it doesn't need to consume magic power. Is it based on physical strength?" Tiona couldn't help but exclaimed. "They have never seen this magical method before, it is too unreasonable. If this kind of skill can be popularized, the status of mages will be greatly impacted in the future. After all, if a warrior can rush into the pile of monsters with a big knife and slash wildly, the effect will not be weaker than the magic released by the magician through singing, and it seems to be instantaneous, then it is really a judgment. After all, this technique does not require spell casting. At this point, wizards will probably never be able to match. Not all mages have the difficult parallel chant technique, and of course, not all warriors have this kind of swordsmanship that is comparable to the destructive power of magic. Is that all?" Abandoning the advantages of strength and speed, Li Yiming did not feel too much pressure. "Then it's time for the swordsmanship sparring to come to an end." Breath of the Sun, two shapes Biloshan. The circular slash from top to bottom with scorching flames once again caught Ace, good, by surprise, and the more powerful attack made people a little bit blindsided. Unwilling to fail like this, Ace was very excited, and the power of suppression was gradually released to the level of LV.3. Tempest. In addition, Esther spit out lightly and chanted the only magic she had. With the fall of the chants, a gust of hurricane suddenly blew and entangled the girl's body, which also raised Ace's attack, defense, and speed to a higher level. Li Yiming's attack was blocked by the wind, but it also made Aisi kiss a clothes formed by flames and wind. Aisi stomped on the ground with both feet, and the ability value and magic effect after liberating part of her body made her instantly open the gap in her body foundation, and she also caught the flaw in an instant. Clenching the sword of despair in his right hand, he stabbed out quickly, and the dense sword net enveloped Li Yiming. Li Yiming accurately captured Aici's every move, and at the same time, by observing Aici's body structure, she could clearly see her weaknesses, which was where the battle ended. "It's over," the breath of the sun, the shape of picking up one, the dragon head dance of the sun halo. The flowing body dodged all the slashing blows, and the sun wheel knife in Li Yiming's hand was wrapped in flames, and he swung the blade as he moved, making him look as if he had turned into Chiu Wei. A breath like a beast attack made Aisi shudder, and her body froze subconsciously. Almost instinctively, her power erupted uncontrollably, causing the expressions of the others to change slightly. Micro-wind. Not good. Riveria, who was watching the battle, realized the change in the situation, and hurriedly raised the wand in her hand. "Would spirit fulfill my wish, Maurice clothes, my name is Al." The defensive magic was formed in an instant, covering Ji Jiming's whole body. The next moment, a violent explosion sounded, and everything around was shrouded in smoke and dust. P.S. The new book is on the shelves, and I am looking for a wave of first orders. Readers who like this book, please support a lot, thank you very much. Chapter 67, The Bond with Ace, preparing to return to Olele. Cough, cough, wow, I almost died. In the smoke and dust, Li Yiming leaned on the ground with the sun will knife, coughing lightly. Looking at the remaining defensive magic on the body surface, recalling the terrible impact just now, Li Yiming couldn't help feeling a wave of fear in his heart, and his face was full of joy after the disaster. Isai's conditioned reflex erupted, and the intensity was beyond imagination. If it wasn't for Riveria's timely application of defensive magic, I'm afraid she wouldn't be able to continue standing here now. Whether he will die or not, Li Yiming doesn't know, but at least he will be seriously injured, maybe he will lose arms and legs. Now even sparring has become high risk, this feeling of facing death is really uncomfortable. Sure enough, you can't be too arrogant, especially in battle. If you knew it earlier, you wouldn't say hello. Now it's good. You've made yourself so embarrassed, it's really. Li Yiming shook his head helplessly, stood up slowly, and took the sun will knife back. This kind of thing happened every time. This discussion has obviously come to an end, there is no need to continue, as long as you win or lose, it is not that important anymore. Both Li Yiming and Aisi got what they wanted. What's more, this sparring was not started for the sake of arguing about winning or losing. Ace. Are you okay? The members of the Loki family rushed up directly, asking the blonde girl with worried expressions. This scene pulled Li Yiming back from his contemplation. His mood, which had been calmed down after self-comfort, fell to the bottom again, and he felt a little bad. He was the one who was almost killed, okay. Isai didn't answer, but shook her head slightly, but looked past the people around her, and looked towards Li Yiming not far away, with a rare worried look in her eyes. Obviously she also realized what she had just done. Hey, boy, are you okay? You almost scared me to death just now. Chun pushed Li Yiming's arm with his shoulder, with a faint smile on his face, but you seem to have made a lot of money this time, seeing Sword Fairy, did you look in your eyes, although it was just a faint sign, but a lot of relationships are fueled by sparks. You know, Sword Fairy is the dream lover of many adventurers. If you really fall in love with her, the whole Orario will go crazy. It's just a pity. You are from our family. Head, I really didn't see that you were so gossip. Chun's words made Li Yiming roll his eyes angrily, and now he is getting more and more ignorant of his team leader 703. The first impression was obviously so perfect, but as time went by, after getting in touch with it more, I realized that it was not what I imagined at all. In front of strangers, people are superior, and people around acquaintances are crazy. In a sense, getting along with people with this personality is very comfortable, but it is also troublesome. Don't be shy, boy, what if you really fall in love with you? Then you will become the man who has made countless male adventurers lovelorn, and you will definitely become an after-dinner tea talk. Hee hee, you just want to watch me have fun, right? Forget about that kind of reputation, I can't bear it. After all, Li Yiming felt a little shudder when he thought of Oyulala, these fun gods. He doesn't want to wait until he upgrades to discuss the title, because of the influence of these things, he will be given a title like Sword Fairy's favored or Adventurer's enemy, he might as well just die woolen cloth. What's more, the current Aisi, I'm afraid she doesn't know what love between opposite sexes is. For the blonde girl who only wants to become stronger, these things will probably only become a burden. It's really boring, can you have a little dream, boy? Seeing that Li Yiming didn't fall into the trap anyway, he couldn't help curling his lips. Probably because of the influence of his main god, besides forging, Tsubaki also likes to find fun from other people, but it is a pity that he failed. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you, I didn't control my strength. At this moment, Isai, who pushed through the crowd, walked quickly to Li Yiming, apologizing with an apologetic face, and at the same time, there was a strong sense of guilt in her eyes. If it was Riveria, she really didn't know what consequences she would cause. Fortunately, Li Yiming was not hurt, which also made AISI feel a little less guilty. Although I really want to say it's okay, but the feeling of facing death makes me unable to lie to myself. I still have anger, but who made me agree to discuss with you? All risks are at my own risk. But it's also completely bad. At least it made me realize the gap between me and the first-level adventurers. It's not nothing. These words can only be regarded as forced smiles. I'm afraid that Li Yiming will leave a huge psychological shadow in the future, and it's probably impossible to compete with someone stronger than him in this life. Sorry. Isai repeated her apology again, but this kind of words always seemed a little pale. After a little hesitation, the blonde girl's voice sounded again, "What's the name of the sword technique you used just now? Why can you create flames?" In the end, did you care about this issue? Li Yiming was a little dumbfounded. He was still concerned about others just now, but suddenly changed the topic. The purpose was too clear, so it was easy for others to misunderstand. If he didn't know about AIC's cute personality, I'm afraid Li Yiming would have regarded her as green tea. Is it convenient to say? Seeing that Li Yiming didn't respond immediately, AISI also realized something. Her expression suddenly dimmed, and she no longer had the same expression as before. No, it's not impossible to say, it's a sword technique called the Breath of the Sunday. To be precise, this is a way of assisting combat. It strengthens the cardiopulmonary function through a specific breathing rate, allowing the blood to absorb a large amount of oxygen in a short period of time, so as to greatly improve the physical ability. What I showed before is the accompanying swordsmanship. The flame on the sword is also produced by breathing. With a succinct description, Li Yiming is not worried about the problem of skill leakage. Without a systematic study, it is undoubtedly a fantasy to figure out the mystery of the breathing method. Rather than being randomly guessed by other adventurers, it is better to come up with this term yourself. At least you don't have to worry about all kinds of gossip. It's a lie, breathing creates fire. How does that work? The outspoken Diona questioned directly, mainly because it was too unbelievable. In fact, she was not the only one. The others were more or less surprised, including Tsubaki. This was the first time they had heard of this ability. It's unbelievable, just like the first time I came into contact with magic. It's novel enough. If that's the case, if I can learn Yiming's Breath of the Sun, wouldn't it be necessary to use a furnace for forging in the future? Tsubaki's eyes lit up suddenly. Hearing this sentence, Li Yiming felt a little bad all over. Why does his leader always have such strange ideas? Bring back that straightforward and admirable leader. The Breath of the Sun, can you teach me? I can pay enough fees, or other conditions are fine, as long as I can do it. Ace. Riveria on the side hurriedly reminded her that this kind of request was really rude. If it is a member of the same family, then there is nothing wrong with it, but now it is applying to learn from adventurers from other families, and it is not an ordinary training. It is undoubtedly that they want to learn this unique skill that has almost created another genre. Just a little too ignorant. The ability described by Li Yiming can be used as the foundation of the family. How can it be taught to other members of the family? However, Isai seemed to have not heard Riveria's reminder, and still looked at Li Yiming with burning eyes, hoping to get a response from him. Well, it's actually not such a great skill. Fearful of being stared at by the blonde girl, Li Yiming could only scratch his head and explain. In comparison, whether it is the pattern or the penetrating world, it is obviously more precious than the breathing method, but only in terms of preciousness. From the perspective of practicality, the popular breathing method will be more convenient. Actually, I think Miss Isai's own swordsmanship is enough. It's just because I rely too much on strength and speed that I can suppress you in swordsmanship. Although strength and speed are indeed more useful when facing monsters, the details cannot be ignored. Miss Ace, if you can improve your skills and meet opponents of the same level, then your chances of winning will definitely be greater. Jane, BJBF, gave some suggestions, and Li Yiming said it in a rather tactful way. He didn't promise that he could do it, nor did he promise that he couldn't do it. Although the breathing method is not expensive in his opinion, it is not a reason to teach it to others at will. If they were both members of the faith family, Li Yiming might not be stingy if they had a good character and heart, but Aisi is a member of the Loki family, and the gap between the two is natural, so in the end whether to teach the other party or not still needs to be considered. In other words, at least enough benefits must be exchanged. I understand, but can't the breath of the sun really teach me? Aisi asked again, unwilling to give up. A helpless smile appeared on Li Yiming's face, and after a little thought, he said, "That's all right, give me some time to think about it, and when the leader and I return to Oleli, I will ask Lord God to invite Logojishan came here to clear up today's misunderstanding, and I will give you an answer at that time." All right. Although a little regretful, Aisi still cheered up and nodded slightly. The girl's heart is full of anticipation. She really wants to learn more powerful skills from Li Yiming. After all, Oleli's gods may have great power, but their skills are not as good as the first. It's just crushed by divine power. Even Ares, who has the title of god of war, is no match for Ace with swordsmanship alone. Therefore, if she can learn more powerful skills, Aisi's strength will also become stronger, so the girl is so eager for Li Yiming. However, it will take some time to achieve it. After the sparring was over, Riveria and Tsubaki exchanged pleasantries, and then they left with the others. The members of the Rocky family were all stationed outside the town of Rivera, so the two sides were not on the same road. On the way back, only Li Yiming and Chun were left. The sparring took too long, and the light released by the crystal was obviously brighter than before. Simply put, the sunrise that belongs to the safe floor is about to appear. Hey, Yiming, that's an opportunity to be alone with the beautiful girl. Are you really giving up like this? And you can also get a huge favor from the Loki family. There is no reason to refuse. Head, I haven't refused yet, and even if I agree, it's absolutely impossible because of you. I'm not that hungry yet, okay? Having gradually gotten used to Tsubaki's behavior, Li Yiming didn't react too much. Let me think about it. Okay, anyway, it's your skill, I can't give too many suggestions, just make your own decision, no matter what the final result is, Lord Shangshen and I will support you unconditionally. Hold yours. But can I learn your breathing method? I really want to try, can I forge it without a furnace? Although your perspective is very novel, leader, if you want to learn, I have no problem. After all, you taught me my forging, so I will teach you the breathing method. No problem either. That's right, that's really great, let's hurry back to the workshop, we can't wait. Hi. Under Chun's pull, Li Yiming couldn't help but quicken his pace. Under the gradually brightening sky, the two ran wantonly. For 2 whole weeks, Li Yiming and Chun stayed in the security floor. Because they don't have to worry about food and whoever has a place to live, the two of them are not in a hurry to return to Oleli, and devote themselves wholeheartedly to their current career. Li Yiming also really felt the earnestness of the adventurer himself. I get up very early every day, learn forging with Chun in the morning, and go to the 16th floor to level up in the afternoon. In fact, Li Yiming is mainly leveling, and Chun is on the sidelines. By the way, keep him safe. Of course, the teaching of the breath of the sun is naturally indispensable during this period. However, it may be a matter of compatibility. Chun has been unable to get started. There is no way, Li Yiming can only try to teach her the breath of flame. The degree of compatibility is very high, probably because Tsubaki is also a passionate person in his heart. Bang bang bang. 3 times in a row, 3 white rays of light flew out of the finished glyph at the same time, and directly hit the roaring minotaur. On his right arm, the last sword energy hit the delayed position of the Tauren. The precise attack caused the Tauren to fall directly to the ground, killing him on the spot. However, the fall of a single Minotaur did not stop the progress of the Tauren behind. These monsters refreshed from the dungeon were of varying intelligence, and most of the human beings who attacked in with a beast-like force would rush forward without hesitation even if the difference in level was too large. In a sense, the difference between monsters and dead things is probably that they are still alive. Borrow the words of a big guy once said. When any creature is attacked, it will feel pain and fear, thus revealing its flaws, but monsters will not feel that way. It's a pity, if the Minotaur was a little smarter, it might be able to bring a greater sense of pressure. Li Yiming waved the Sunwheel saber indifferently while making an evaluation. This kind of creature without much intelligence and who would become angry due to provocation is the best solution. For the current him, he only needs to wave the blade in his hand, coupled with certain skills, and he can easily solve it. A large number of Minotaurs fell one after another in front of him, but Li Yiming's heart remained unmoved, as if what he killed were just some insignificant creatures. Perhaps, he has also become that kind of hard-hearted person. When any creature attacks, it will stop attacking because it feels pity and sympathy, but some people don't feel that way. Boom! Another wave of high-speed slashing, the last Minotaur fell, and the 10 Tauren that appeared in front of Li Yiming were all cleaned up. It's hard to believe that the person who can do all this is just a low-level adventurer. After all, even when Ace was leveling up, she only gained enough great achievements by defeating the young dragons, but Li Yiming defeated so many Minotaurs alone, it is hard to imagine that he is now. How much has it accumulated? Take out all the magic stones, the Tauren's body also disappears. Is it over already? Indeed, Yiming, your improvement speed is terrifying, and you can handle so many Minotaurs with ease. It seems that it's time to return to Orario for a favor update. Chapter 68 I'm so filthy, you can keep an eye on me? Monthly ticket plus update. After going to the safe floor to pack up his things, Tsubaki simply told the members stationed in the workshop on the safe floor, and then brought all the materials collected during this trip. It was afternoon, and on the way back, Li Yiming directly turned into a pure love warrior who specializes in killing Tauren. He started to sweep from the 16th floor, and moved towards the exit of the dungeon maze at the fastest speed. Since it is returning to Olalai to update the state of favor, the last bit of time is naturally not to be missed. If after returning to the residence of the He-Faith Tas family, they find that the value of the basic ability value has been reduced by a little bit, then it will be too troublesome at that time. The upgrade is not reconciled, and it is only a little bit away and it is not worth entering the dungeon again. In order to avoid that kind of thing from happening, Li Yiming planned to kill another batch of monsters during the return process, so as to improve his basic ability value. If nothing else, he should not enter the dungeon for a while. Of course this is not certain. Li Yiming and Chun found a lot of ores in the dungeon, and the special materials obtained from the monsters had to be processed. It was time to update the basic armor on him. This time, you can give it a try and create your own equipment by yourself. Not sure about the time of the next entry into the dungeon. It might be tomorrow, it might be the day after tomorrow, or it might be several days later. As for when to enter the dungeon again, it depends entirely on the situation of the day. Perhaps because of leaving, Li Yiming always feels more motivated. Passing through the caves, the two quickly returned to the upper area. The monsters here no longer pose any threat, and they don't have much exercise effect. Li Yiming gave up the idea of continuing to clean up, but deliberately avoided all monsters together with Chun. The dungeon is not for one person, it is necessary to give other rookies some room to grow. The two left silently from the other side of the passage, not to disturb the cute newbies who were fighting the killer ants or goblins. Finally, facing the afterglow of the setting sun, the two walked out of the cave. The number of adventurers around has also increased, and the voices of loud discussions are mixed with the laughter around, the cries of losing their companions, and the excited cheers. It sounds very harsh, but at this moment it makes people feel familiar for a while. It's been a long time since I saw such a scene. It finally came out. This time I really stayed in the dungeon for too long. It always feels like a lifetime away. Li Yiming, who had been in the dungeon for such a long time for the first time, couldn't help sighing. Looking at the lights that Oleli lit up before nightfall, the corners of his mouth could not help but curl up slightly. Tsubaki at the side put on a disgusted expression when he heard such unfamiliar words. Don't say such embarrassing things. You are also a member of the Faith family after all, and this kind of situation will definitely happen often in the future. It's better to get used to it earlier. Don't just stand there. Go to the Adventurers Guild and exchange all the unused magic stones, or the guild may be off work later. I don't want to bring so many magic stones back to the Adventurers Guild. Resident will definitely be regarded as a fool by others. Got it, let's go now. Ignoring the first half of Tsubaki's words, Li Yiming stepped out of the exit. Suddenly, he seemed to feel a faint gaze staring at his back, which made him stop subconsciously, and look towards the continuous flow of people around him. Everyone has a natural look on their faces, and no peepers are found. Is it my illusion? Li Yiming, who found nothing, frowned subconsciously, thinking silently in his mind. Just when he had some eyebrows, he was ruthlessly interrupted by the great Dobizan. Why are you in a daze here? Do you want to go back? Hurry up. Got it, here we come. Completely interrupted from thinking, Li Yiming did not find the target, and the feeling of being stared at, or being watched by a woman disappeared. He could only shake his head, taking the feeling just now as his own illusion. Maybe I have been in the dungeon for too long, so I have become nervous. Putting this strange incident behind him, in order to avoid Chun's anger, Li Yiming hastened to keep up and completely entered the crowd. At the same time, the whole of Oleli has begun to dim, and the top floor of the towering Tower of Babel can still overlook the last ray of light before the sun sets. A gray-haired goddess wearing a black swan down dress, long gray hair shawl, white and tender skin, and possessing peerless beauty is standing by the window, overlooking the panoramic view of Oleli. To be precise, her eyes only stayed on one person. Squeak. Lord Freya, there are several people in the family who want to see your face, and even threaten to leave the family if they can't see you. How to deal with it needs your approval. At this moment, a maid wearing ordinary clothes and wearing a golden side goddess family badge on her chest knocked on the door and walked in, holding a gorgeous letter in her hand. In addition, there was other Lord God sent invitation letters, inviting you to attend the 3-monthly meeting of gods. Oh? Is it such a boring thing again? Freya, who was holding the wine glass, shook her right hand lightly, not even interested in turning around, but her beautiful silver eyelashes were slightly furrowed, obviously dissatisfied with something. After pondering for a moment, the goddess of beauty spoke again. Put the invitation letter on the table, I will deal with it later, and in addition, don't bother me about some small things in the future, they will only disturb my interest, and I will leave it to you. Let Ada take care of it, he knows what to do. Yes, Lady Freya. The maid naturally didn't dare to intervene in this kind of matter. After bowing slightly, her eyes were shining with nostalgia and obsession, and then she turned and left reluctantly. Not everyone can be favored by the goddess. The sound of the door closing could be heard next to her ears. Freya never cared about these little things from the beginning to the end, and her eyes stayed on the figure walking on West Avenue. The eyes of this beautiful goddess flickered, as if she was observing something carefully. The special soul that has never been seen before is completely different from the light that other human souls bloom. It is also colorful, but it does not have the dirtiness of other souls. Why is this? Freya stared at the boy with black hair and brown pupils and muttered to herself, lost in thought. On the table next to him, there are related materials about Li Yiming. Li Yiming's every move since he came to Olalai was clearly recorded on it. This kind of ST-like behavior can only be done by Freya. However, this beauty god didn't feel ashamed because of her actions, on the contrary, she enjoyed it. Having the eye to see the essence of the soul, capturing beautiful souls, and then possessing them, and even waiting for those children who were favored to die, to guide them to her own realm of heaven and store them, this is Freya's favorite things to do. The act of enjoying the dazzling soul made her feel happy in her heart. What a mysterious child, and I always feel that there is something missing in him. This kind of incomprehensible luster of the soul is very necessary to understand. Freya took a sip of the fine wine, licked her bright red lips with her small tongue, her eyes revealed a dangerous color. At this moment, Li Yiming had no idea that he was being targeted. It is obvious that both the past life and the present life are old-fashioned critics. After being influenced by various things, the soul should have been filthy already. This can be noticed by Freya, to be honest. He doesn't know what to say anymore, the only thing he seems to say is probably cursing words. Of course, these are things that will be learned later. Northwest Avenue. Near the central square, there is a very sacred pantheon, where statues of many gods and great adventurers stand, and the whole building is shrouded in a sacred atmosphere. The pantheon is also the main building of the Adventurers Guild. In the evening, it was time for the adventurers to return. The adventurers who came and went crowded into the guild hall that could accommodate thousands of people, and lined up honestly in front of the various processing windows, waiting for the guild staff to handle business for them. In other words, it is to exchange magic stones. This time of day is probably the beginning time for adventurers. What can make people feel happier than getting paid for their hard work? The Adventurers Guild is also the busiest at this time. Many staff at the window are about to smoke with their hands, and they keep counting the number of magic stones of each adventurer, and then give the corresponding value of mana. This work can be described as very boring. However, the pay is not bad, at least higher than other jobs, which also makes many humans give up the high-risk occupation of being an adventurer and start serving adventurers instead. At the consultant window, the Japanese adventurer consultants can be described as quite leisurely. They are generally not in charge of the magic stone exchange business, but it is not absolute. If you have a very close relationship with a certain adventurer consultant, you can also ask her to help you exchange through the back door. As for the price, there will not be any changes. I don't know how that boy is doing recently. Is he doing well in the Faith Familiars? Has he learned forging skills? If not, he can only venture into the dungeon, which is very dangerous. Misha stayed in front of the window, resting his chin on his hands, staring at the long queue in a daze. She was missing the beautiful boy she saw 2 days ago, although she knew that such a beautiful boy and a small employee like her were unlikely, but she hadn't seen her for a few days, and she was really falling in lovesickness. It made her feel like she couldn't even work. Misha, how long are you going to be in a daze? Have you finished all the related work? Although we don't need to participate in the work of exchanging magic stones, we still have to finish our daily work. If you still work overtime because you can't finish your work today, I'm not helping you. A sound like the sound of heaven sounded in the ears, waking Misha from the state of daze. The person who said these words just now was her colleague and student friend, the half-elf Aegina Zur. The two are very good girlfriends and have a very close relationship. Asking for flowers. Although Misha usually likes to complain, she will still do a good job, but recently it has completely changed. She seems to be depressed and has no interest in doing anything. This makes AI, who is a good friend NA, is very worried. If this continues, Misha will definitely be fired. Ah, I'm sorry, Aegina, I'm a little distracted, I'll come right over. Misha lazily responded, and then began to deal with the work piled up in front of him. Although she is working on the surface, it can be seen from her demeanor and behavior that she is completely passive and sabotage. Even accuracy cannot be guaranteed. Seeing all this in her eyes, Aegina sighed helplessly. Just when she was about to say something, two figures suddenly appeared in front of her. From the appearance of their clothes, they were all experienced adventurers. This made the words that the half-elf lady was about to say stuck in her throat, and her face there was a professional smile. "Hi, may I help you?" "Don't worry, I'm here to find Miss Misha." The familiar voice sounded outside the window, and Misha, who was still somewhat decadent, raised his head in great surprise. The boy he met a few days ago really caught his eyes. The handsome face of the other party instantly dispelled the emptiness deep in his heart. Filled up. Misha, who originally had a baby face and a petite figure, froze in place at this moment. "Long time no see, Miss Misha, don't be so surprised to see me." Looking at Misha with a sluggish face, Li Yiming smiled and waved at her, which brought the girl who was in a nympho state back to her senses in an instant. Her cheeks were blushing, and her ears were also blushing. The reaction just now was too embarrassing. "Li Jun, long time no see. You don't need to be so formal, I'm not a big shot, just call me Yiming." Li Yiming quickly changed the subject after being a little uncomfortable with Misha's address. "Miss Misha, are you free now? I want to exchange a batch of magic stones, but you also saw that there are too many people." "Ah, of course I'm free, Aegina, help me." Hearing Li Yiming's words, Misha's mood became very excited, but when she thought that she still had so much work to do, she immediately looked pitifully at Aegina, with pleading in her eyes. "Big Baa." Aegina refused without hesitation. With a serious face, the half-elf girl gently pushed the glasses on the tip of her nose and said, "I will finish my work by myself. I already worked overtime with you yesterday. Don't ask me to help you again today." "Hey! How is this?" The merciless refusal made Misha couldn't help holding his head and began to howl. "Although I can't help you complete the work, I can still help you with the task of exchanging magic stones. If you don't want to face this kind of problem all the time, then just work hard and complete the work in the future." Leaving the grey Misha in place, Aegina's eyes fell on Li Yiming and Tsubaki, and her exquisite smile appeared again. "Mr. Li Yiming, Miss Chun, please come with me." Although surprised at how Aegina knew her, Li Yiming nodded and followed Aegina with Chun, walking further and further under Misha's pitiful eyes. The three of them soon came to a meeting room. "Then, please take out the magic stone, and I will be responsible for counting. Then I will trouble you, Miss Aegina." Li Yiming was naturally not polite, and together with Chun took out all the magic stone fragments. A small hill instantly appeared on the table in the conference room. With so many magic stones, the visual impact is too powerful. However, most of them are magic stones from upper-level monsters. As for the magic stones of middle-level monsters, only a part of them were taken out. The remaining good quality magic stones, similar to those of the Minotaur, were all put away. Used to add to weapons. So the value of the pile of magic stones in front of him may not be as high as imagined, but it is still surprising enough. It's really a rich harvest. After recovering from the brief surprise, Aegina no longer hesitated, and Dang even started to count. Although the workload was heavy, it was not a problem for Aegina. In about 15 minutes, the half-elf lady counted all the magic stones. There are a total of 565,478 farleys, which is a surprising amount. A normal LV.1 adventurer team of 5 can earn less than 30,000 a day. It is worthy of being the adventurers of the He Faith family. Aegina was very surprised. He couldn't help looking at this man who made Misha excited. "I have to say, it's really handsome. More than 500,000? It's not bad. Thank you, Miss Aegina. Let's go first. If there is nothing else, I'm going to the door to say goodbye to Miss Misha." After receiving the exchange proceeds, Li Yiming couldn't wait to return to the family, and Aegina understood this. Of course, but if you have something to do, can you ask Mr. Yiming to come to the guild a few more times? No problem. That was a real help. Chapter 69 The Soaring Ability Value, From Her Faith's Concerns, Monthly Ticket plus more First Order. After saying goodbye to Miss He, Li Yiming and Chun left the Adventurers Guild. During this period, it was inevitable that Tsubaki would tease her for a while. After all, what Aegina said when she was parting was too easily misunderstood. Li Yiming didn't think much about it, all his thoughts were now on updating his abilities. Since he didn't come out of the Adventurers Guild alone, some of the hunters who were specially waiting not far from the entrance of the guild recognized Tsubaki's identity, and didn't dare to touch him. Just kidding, even if you are a robber, you need to know someone, okay? In case of offending some people who can't be offended, I'm afraid that the main god of the family will not be able to save them. Although the new adventurer is not luscious, at least it is safe enough, isn't it? There were no adventurers to find fault, and they returned to the family residence unimpeded along the way. Today, there are still old acquaintances who look after the house at the resident external weapon shop. The familiar Kanban lady Liz came forward, with a surprised look on her face. Yo, Liz, we're back. Back in his homeland, Tsubaki was obviously more active. Welcome back, leader, Mr. Yiming. Liz's face was full of smiles, and that gentle and sunny smile made Li Yiming feel that his tired heart was completely healed. No wonder, I need someone to greet me when I go home. I believe no one can refuse that feeling. Li Yiming feels more and more that he has completely become a member of He Faith's family. He likes the current atmosphere very much. He likes Tsubaki, the team leader, and Liz, the Kanban lady. It seems nice to have such a family. Long time no see, Liz, are you looking after the shop again today? Well, after all, I don't have much talent for forging, and my talent as an adventurer is not ideal, so the only thing that can help everyone is to look after the store. Speaking of this topic, Liz's mood suddenly became very depressed. Li Yiming didn't know how to comfort her. Human beings have their own limits, which is why some adventurers work hard but still can't achieve results. Li Yiming, who has a traversal simulation system, can ensure that he can become stronger, but he has no power to help others. Unless he gets a naming ability similar to Lemuru in the future, he can make the person named by him stronger, but right now, he is really powerless. Besides, isn't that poaching the corners of my own god-sama? Well, don't think so, Liz, everyone in the family is indispensable. Without you, the rest of us can't rest assured to forge, and the family can't grow, you can understand me mean. I know, leader, and I'm just expressing my feelings. I'm honored to be able to join the Faith's family. I'm already very satisfied to meet everyone. Liz raised her head slowly, with a heartfelt smile on her face. Okay, I'm fine. You and Mr. Yiming just came back from the dungeon. It must have been a hard journey. Lord Shangshen is still in his room right now. Go and report to her first. Then we'll go there first. See you later, Liz. Li Yiming and Chun didn't refuse either, they waved at Miss Kanban and walked into the backyard. In a familiar environment, the doors of all the rooms are still closed. Obviously, these members have not come back, which also avoids the embarrassment of meeting for the first time. The two soon came to the door of Goddess Faith's room. Tsubaki, with a serious face, raised her hand and knocked lightly. Come in. Li Yiming was also touched by the long-lost voice coming to his ears. Pushing the door open, Goddess Faith, wearing a white shirt as always, was sitting at the desk, holding a quill pen to write and draw. After seeing Li Yiming and Tsubaki coming in, her face changed. Hang up a smile. Tsubaki, Yiming, welcome home. Ah, Lord Shangshen, we are back. The ordinary greetings made each other feel a continuation of a special emotion. How is the dungeon exploration this time? No injuries. Putting down the quill in her hand, Faith stood up from the chair, walked in front of Li Yiming, stretched out her hand and groped gently on the latter's body. The tickling feeling seemed to be scratching her own. The apex of the heart makes Li Yiming feel very strange. Fortunately, this process did not last too long. After confirming that he was not injured, Goddess Faith stopped her actions. It's great that there were no injuries. Master Shang Shen, you are worried? With the team leader accompanying me, safety issues can be guaranteed, and I am not as weak as I imagined, so you don't have to worry about me anymore, Lord Shang Shen. Indeed, Yiming, you really reassure me. Faith nodded in agreement, the corners of his lips curled up slightly, and he looked at Li Yiming with a satisfied expression. Since you are back, let's take a good rest for a while. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, you are just a newcomer. Although it is important to become stronger, you don't have to work so hard. Well, listen to you, my lord. Li Yiming smiled all over his face, but he didn't brush off the kindness of Goddess Hedos. Okay, it's getting late, and it's rare for you to come back with a full load. Why don't you go out and have a big meal together, which can be regarded as a celebration of your safe return? Are you going to update your ability value first, or go to celebrate first, and then go to the restaurant to celebrate your return? Come back for an update. Yiming probably can't wait anymore. Why not update the ability value first? Chun pushed Li Yiming's shoulder teasingly. Even at this moment, this unscrupulous team leader still didn't forget to tease his newcomer. But this time Li Yiming didn't react too strongly, he was really impatient. If Lord Shang Shen doesn't mind, I also want to update the ability value first. Well then, come and lie down. Goddess Faith smiled indifferently, walked to the bed where she was resting and patted gently, motioning Ji Yiming to take off his coat and lie down. At the same time, her eyes fell on Tsubaki's body. Tsubaki, go out and wait for us first, you don't need to update your ability value anyway. Hey Master Shang Shen, you are really partial. What do you mean I don't need to update my ability value, and you actually allow Yiming to lie on your bed? Obviously even I don't have this kind of treatment, partiality. Perhaps in front of Goddess Faith, Tsubaki completely released her own nature. Not to mention, La Qiao's love is really cute. However, the goddess of Het Faith doesn't take this at all. It's okay to say anything, you know the rules between adventurers, so stop messing around. You might as well go out and help Liz when you have that time. Okay, I'll go now. After some attempts to no avail, no matter how much you mess around, it won't work, so Chun can only choose to give up. Although he is indeed very curious about Li Yiming's ability value, but since Goddess Faith is unwilling to tell her, there is no other way. With Chun's departure, only Li Yiming and Faith were left in the room. Leave her alone, take off your coat and lie down. Okay, Lord God. Li Yiming nodded obediently, first took off the outermost light armor, then took off the fine weaving cloth, and finally took off the jacket. It is really troublesome for adventurers to put on the equipment. If you can have a wearable function in the future, it would be great. Without any resistance, Goddess Faith was allowed to fiddle with her body wantonly. Soon, Li Yiming was placed on the bed, and the Goddess Faith was still sitting on the edge of the bed. As before, she pricked her fingers and dripped divine blood to activate the sacred text behind Li Yiming. In an instant, the familiar blue streamer flickered again, and soon emerged. A large number of values are constantly jumping, and the magnitude makes Hertos even a little surprised. Since she formed the family, she has also recruited many excellent children, but when updating their ability values, there has never been a situation like this. In fact, when Li Yiming's ability value was updated for the first time, that terrifying increase was enough to surprise him. It's just that I didn't expect that this terrifying speed of becoming stronger could actually emerge again. Although it is not as good as the first time, it is already quite terrifying for other adventurers. Hidden expectations in her heart, Faith, who was mentally prepared, was still so shocked by the situation in front of her when she saw the final fixed value that she didn't know what to say. After a while, she showed a relieved smile. Yiming, you will really bring enough surprises to people. I am really looking forward to your future more and more. You shouldn't be disappointed, Lord Shangshen. Ah, that's all I've ever been sure of. Li Ming. LV.1. Strength, E453 rightward arrow A813 durability, F362 rightward arrow A888 delicacy, E420 rightward arrow B765 agility, E411 rightward arrow B718 magic, G289 rightward arrow D587. Development ability. Forging B. Magic. Mole of Love D. Use the magic mole to charm the opposite S*X. Women who come face to face with him will have strong loving feelings towards him. Skill. Almighty Man. Sometimes can get unexpected improvement. Breath of Flame. Enhance physical ability. / can emit extremely scorching flames. Transparent World. Conceal your grudge. The ability to predict actions and dodge attacks will be greatly improved. Able to see the opponent's anatomy and weaknesses. Breath of the Sun. Enhance physical ability. / can carry the terrifying solar fire. Increased damage to evil enemies. When fighting with evil enemies, the full ability is greatly increased. Zebra. Increase heart rate and oxygen supply capacity, greatly enhance combat ability. Able to help recognized people to open stripes. Brave Sea. Annihilate mental interference such as coercion, confusion, and confusion. Basic attributes are doubled during the battle. Wild. When Li Yiming saw his own ability value, Li Yiming felt a little cold. He really couldn't believe that he could grow so fast. He had only entered the dungeon twice, and he had only stayed there for about 10 days. In less than a month, such a terrifying growth has been achieved, which is really unimaginable. Could it be that it was because the level of the lower level adventurer defeated the LV.2 level monster? This is probably the only explanation. After all, from the panel, Li Yiming doesn't have any skills that can increase the growth rate. This growth rate seems weird no matter how you look at it. Wait, shouldn't it be? Suddenly thought of something, Li Yiming looked at the skill bar. The almighty person who had been ignored by him became particularly conspicuous for some reason at this time, and at the same time, a kind of speculation that he had never had before was born in his heart. Could it be that this skill is not a description of traveling through the simulation system, but something he possesses? If this is the case, then having such a terrifying growth rate seems to be able to explain clearly. It's not certain yet, and there seems to be no way to verify this conjecture, but in any case, it is undoubtedly a great thing that the ability value has increased so rapidly. It's just that I have been in the middle for so long, and the ability value haven't you reached your limit yet? Li Yiming frowned slightly, completely confused. But why durability is higher than strength, he probably guessed. Just kidding, do you really think that Tiona and Isai's attacks are for nothing? If there is really a low-level adventurer who received Riveria's magic with his face and survived, then congratulations, the durability proficiency is also there will be earth-shaking changes. After all, the key to improving your ability value is to do that thing. The more you get beaten, the higher your durability value will be. It's just that the process is a little painful. Yiming, it seems that you have enough great achievements for leveling up, and the basic ability value has reached this level. Do you want to level up? Goddess He Faith sat beside Li Yiming and asked softly. Well, it's better not to upgrade for the time being. I always feel that I haven't reached my limit. I want to try again and see if I can improve these abilities. Without any hesitation, Li Yiming shook his head and refused. For ordinary adventurers, the current value may be beyond reach, but for Li Yiming himself, it is far from enough. Take a look at when Bell was upgraded from LV.1 to LV.2, the 5 basic ability values broke the limit. Li Yiming doesn't want to be like that rabbit, but at least he needs to have a few ability values that break the limit. Since it is possible, then naturally he must grasp it. No matter how strength, durability, and agility still need to be improved. As I thought, you really wouldn't choose to upgrade now. For Li Yiming's answer, Goddess Faith Hertos was not at all surprised. She had already guessed that this child would not be content with being ordinary before she sent out the inquiry. What's more, the adventurer level is very important, but it is not as important as imagined. Neither she nor Li Yiming herself need to compete for the so-called record for the fastest upgrade to LV.25.2. It's only half a month now. Even if they don't upgrade now, breaking the record held by the Loki Familia is already a certainty. In contrast, He Faith is more concerned about Li Yiming's future. She had a hunch in her heart that the child in front of her might really grow into a terrifying monster. Maybe a real hero will emerge from the Faith family of Heath. I've locked your ability value for you. It's still the same sentence. It's best not to tell others that your growth rate is so terrifying. Even I don't have the confidence to protect you. There are some unscrupulous existences in the gods. If you, it will be very difficult for me to become popular. It was obviously a joking tone, but there was no smile on the face of Goddess Faith. As a goddess who has survived for hundreds of millions of years, she is very clear about the personalities of her fellow gods. Don't look at Oleli's atmosphere has begun to improve, but the battle between the gods will never stop. In the past, the gods themselves fought, but now it's just a different way. Those guys treat things that they can't get, but can threaten themselves, and the most likely behavior is to destroy them. If several families join forces to attack He Faith Toss, I don't think Tsubaki can block several LV.5s. So the only thing standing in the way of Li Yiming's rise now is probably time. Don't worry, Lord Shangshen, I will not be so stupid as to publicize my specific situation everywhere, and I have already said that I will not leave you. Faith was deeply touched by Li Yiming's firm eyes, a feeling she hadn't seen for a long time. Inexplicably, the red-haired goddess felt joy from the heart, and even the corners of her mouth raised slightly uncontrollably. This is what you promised yourself, Yiming. If you violate it, you will be cursed by the gods. 11. Of course, Lord Shangshen. Oh. Chapter 70 Real-Life Time Travel Simulation. God will scorn the boss to die? Thanks for the monthly pass of Dizzy Eyes and Ming Yuzo. The next day, Li Yiming got up early in the morning. Probably because of the habits he had developed during this period of time, coupled with the strengthening of the ability value again, he felt as if he had inexhaustible strength all over his body. Coupled with the assistance of fully concentrated breathing, Li Yiming only needs a short rest to recover to his best condition. As a result, I still didn't go out to celebrate last night, but at least I cooked a delicious meal by myself. The cooking skills in my previous life have not been forgotten, and I don't have any hands-on skills. It's really good. If this kind of life can continue enough. Sitting on the bed, looking towards the yard through the window, the morning glow has already sprinkled on the ground. Recalling the situation last night, Goddess Hestia and Goddess Faith were drunk again. Tsubaki was also full of excitement, and Liz, a girl, had a rare leisure time. There's nothing to be reluctant about. The next time you celebrate, wait until the upgrade. Shaking his head slightly, the smile on Li Yiming's face gradually subsided, and he was in the best condition. He hasn't forgotten what needs to be done today. Now is the time to deal with the harvest obtained by He-chan in the dungeon. Think about it, the number of special items obtained by exploring the dungeon this time is quite a lot, such as the scales of young dragons, the horns of minotaurs, the fur of silverback apes, the teeth of giant wild boars, the claws of pterosaurs, etc. There are also various ores, and almost all materials above the safe floor have been collected. These materials were all piled up in Tsubaki's forging room, covered with mud and blood. Li Yiming currently does not have a single person forging room, so he can only temporarily place it in Chun's room. If he wants to use this batch of materials, he needs to go there in person. After a simple breakfast, Li Yiming entered Chun's room familiarly. Not to his surprise, his team leader also got up early and entered the forging room. "Yo, Yiming, you're here, didn't you say you're going to rest for a while?" "I also want to rest, but when I think of your crazy forging attitude, leader, I am afraid that if I come a few days later, this pile of materials may be used up." Aware of Tsubaki's behavior style, Li Yiming expressed concern about it. It's not that he is reluctant to part with these special materials, the main reason is that there is an urgent need to replace the equipment, otherwise he wouldn't come over in such a hurry. "I'm not as bad as you said, I'm not the kind of person who uses other people's materials casually, okay?" It would be more convincing if Tsubaki didn't hold his neck when he said this. Without any response, Li Yiming squatted down on the ground and began to choose suitable materials. He had a lot of novel equipment in his mind, but he didn't have the ability to forge them as far as his current forging level was concerned. So let's put it aside for the time being. Create a set of equipment that is suitable for the present and replace it, and the rest will be discussed later. Tsubaki's forging room covers a large area, and there is more than one forging table, so the two can manufacture equipment independently of each other without disturbing each other. Originally, if the magic power is enough and the control is fine, it is possible to use magic power to weave armor, which is not only easy to wear, but also has amazing defense power, and can be repaired anytime and anywhere. Skills. There is no way, only physical armor can be used as a substitute for the time being. Then let's get started. Boom. The stove began to burn violently, and the scorching heat rushed to the face in an instant. Take out the ore, throw it into the furnace to heat it, and at the same time pick up the scales of the young dragon and throw it into it. Under the intense high-temperature calcination, both materials turned scarlet. Take out the ore with iron tongs, pick up the hammer on the side and start beating it with all your strength. Ding! 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 There were crisp knocking sounds one after another. In addition to the sound of Li Yiming's knocking on the ore, there was also the knocking sound of Chun. The two similar sounds formed a wonderful movement in the forging room. As the frequency of beating became faster and faster, the red-hot ore became more and more pure. Impurities are cleaned out, which is exactly what Li Yiming wanted. Because it is purely handmade, every step is very energy-consuming, especially this is the equipment that I want to use, and every detail must be perfect. After the ore is processed, the next step is the processing of the young dragon's scales. Fusing ore and young dragon scales together formed a brand new material, which not only became tougher, but also had better ductility, and the weight was not as exaggerated as imagined. After that comes assembly and surface sanding. Armor is not only used for protection, but the comfort of wearing is also a very important issue. This is really the forging that Li Yiming spent the most time. Fortunately, he has the forging development ability and the forging skills obtained from the simulation, so he can easily control these processes. Gradually, he also felt the joy of studying new equipment. But happy time is always short. The day passed by in a hurry, and soon came the evening. Li Yiming sweated and added the fur of the silverback ape to the joint of the armor. The hem is also connected with a fabric that feels great. The blue fabric is sewn together with the white fabric around it, hanging down naturally, but not too much drag it to the ground. The silver light armor is not only layered, but also embellished with dark blue stripes. They were all made according to Li Yiming's favorite style, and the final finishing work was done. After the light armor was manufactured, he immediately tried it on. During the period, there was an unsuitable place, so I took it off and refined it. Finally, this set of light armor mainly composed of fine ore, the scales of the young dragon and the fur of the silver-backed ape was finally completed, both in appearance and workmanship. It's really good, Yiming. With this level of forging, you can already be called a senior blacksmith. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would really find it hard to believe that you were just a blacksmith who didn't know anything about forging more than 10 days ago. Ordinary people, this talent is too enviable. Tsubaki's tone was a little sour, but she didn't really feel jealous. On the contrary, Li Yiming's growth made her feel very gratified. The feeling that this kind of good seedling cultivated by herself is gradually becoming independent is too much to stop. Now she is also gradually understanding why the gods want to establish a family. This kid's talent might be comparable to another problem child. Commander, you have won the award. It is because of your good teaching that I have the level I am today. Compared with the senior blacksmith, I still have a long way to go. At least I haven't been able to make the magic sword for the time being. And a wand, so not yet qualified for that status. Li Yiming shook his head humbly, indicating that he still has a lot to learn. As soon as these words came out, Tsubaki was even more satisfied with him. You are too modest, but you are right. I will teach you about the manufacturing process of the magic sword and wand when I have time. I still need to collect some special materials. Well, then I'll leave it to you, Commander. It's all small things, who makes me value the younger generation. Chun smiled and waved his hands, and once again skillfully wrapped his arms around Li's shoulders. I will be responsible for purchasing and collecting materials. Just take a good rest. I see, Commander. Even if Tsubaki didn't say that, Li Yiming would do it himself. After another brief exchange of pleasantries, Tsubaki will continue to forge. For a forging madman like her, as long as she doesn't enter the dungeon, she will spend all day in the forging room. Even if you enter the dungeon, it's just to collect the materials needed for forging. Li Yiming asked himself if he could not be as crazy as the other party, and only when he was making equipment for himself would he be so single-minded and stay in the forging room for a long time. As for other times, forget it. Picking up the brand new light armor, Li Yiming went straight back to the room. He did not choose to discard the novice light armor provided by the family before, but hung it on the wall of the room. Even though there are many traces on it, it can still be kept as a collection. Leaning against the head of the bed, his thoughts gradually became distant. According to the update of the ability value yesterday, the body has also been strengthened in all directions, and it is not very far from breaking through the limit. It should be able to achieve results after entering the middle area for a period of time. However, that efficiency is a bit too low. Is there a possibility that I can improve my ability value in other ways? I kept thinking in my mind. Suddenly a flash of inspiration, Li Yiming thought of something, exhaled the time travel simulation system that has not appeared for a long time. The normal time travel simulation function has been dimmed, only the real person time travel simulation button next to it is still blinking glowing. Ghost Slayer Blade, real person simulation. Muttering to himself, Li Yiming's eyes shone with a strange light. Looks like I might try it out. Anyway, the real-life time travel simulation will be carried out sooner or later. With Li Yiming's current strength, it is more than enough to deal with the battle in the world of Ghost Slayer. After all, the combat power system of that world is not too strong if it is said to be strong, and it is not weak if it is said to be weak. That kind of particularly moderate level. If lower-level adventurers are still in the category of ordinary people, then surpassing LV1 means surpassing the limits of ordinary people and reaching a new level. Even if Li Yiming hasn't leveled up yet, with his current ability value, when a battle is triggered, the brave skill will take effect. The ability value under double has already surpassed the category of low-level adventurers. There is no doubt about his strength has reached the level of LV.2. Most importantly, Li Yiming's physical strength far exceeds that of Ghost Slayer. Coupled with excellent equipment, in other words, his current strength has surpassed the ghost killing team, and those pillars cannot be his opponents in real battles. It's just this physical strength plus breathing method, combined with markings and penetrating world, one-on-one, these pillars may not even be able to hurt him. The only ones who are troublesome now are probably those winding ghosts. According to Li Yiming's inference, except for Yu Woza, the other ghosts are probably equivalent to LV.2 adventurers, and the specific strength levels are not uniform, but Yu Wozuo and Gewutsuji Wumi, the two may have reached LV.2 peak or LV.3. To be honest, Li Yiming is not very scared, this gap is still within the acceptable range. But the only thing that is uncertain is whether Oni Wutsuji will come out. If this guy is determined not to come out, he has been chasing Ghost knows where to find him. At that time, I am afraid that I will really give up the world of Demon Slayer, Blade. Wait, maybe you can pass on the message of the Blue Higan flower to Ghost Wutsuji through the memory left before the ghost's death. I'm afraid that no matter how stubborn you are, you won't be able to sit still. That's what Boss Yao dreamed of. It's completely possible through this thing. Bring him out. As for where that thing is located, it's not that important. Think about the specific operation steps. Li Yiming's heart also became more and more eager to move. Compared with entering the dungeon for leveling, it seems that the simulation of real-life travel is more applicable. Whether it is ability proficiency or further great achievements, it seems that they can all be obtained from ghosts. System: how long does it take for a real person to travel through the simulation? Will it affect the time in this world? Ding: during the host's real-life travel simulation, the world will only pass for an hour, but during this period the host's body will completely disappear. As expected of a real-life time travel simulation, people just disappeared. So now the current world is the main world, and then go to other worlds to fight monsters and upgrade, and then come back to pretend. Receiving a systematic response, Li Yiming also affirmed the feasibility of his idea. Since the whole person will enter other worlds, it means that the ability proficiency and great achievements gained through battles will definitely be accumulated. Then the idea of directly conducting real-life simulations to break through the limits of ability values becomes more and more feasible. It seems that there is nothing to hesitate. Standing up slowly, Li Yiming's gaze became firm. 1 hour of disappearance, if you think about it, there will be no troubles, so let's go straight away. As for whether you can kill Gewutsuji and get the evaluation S again, it doesn't matter. What a worry. Adventurers become stronger step by step because they need to take risks and challenge powerful enemies. If everything can be considered, then the spirit of adventure will be lost. What's more, Li Yiming has enough confidence to deal with the next crisis. So, there is nothing to hesitate. I hope that in the next period of time, no one will come to find me. After taking off the brand new light armor from the factory, Li Yiming quickly put it on his body, and at the same time took out the sun wheel knife from the system backpack and put it on his waist. The image of the whole person was too capable in an instant. The model of the set of light armor is completely made according to the armor set worn by King Arthur in the Old Sword, and matched with Li Yiming's handsome appearance. It can also be said to be handsome at this time. Knowing the place where you landed, the rest of the preparations are not so necessary. Everything is ready, and the issue of time is not very important. Generally, no one will come to him during this time period. Even if he is not in the room, there will be no problem. Then, let's begin. System: start the real-life time travel simulation. Received the instruction, the real-life crossing simulation has started. 3 talents have been randomly obtained. Please choose one of the hosts as your additional talent. A reminder, the real-life time travel simulation will carry everything the host has, please choose carefully. God of Cooking, green your cooking skills will reach the top in the world, and the food you make will shine with a certain probability. Spearmanship genius, purple your spearmanship talent has been improved to a certain extent, and your understanding of spearmanship will also be greatly improved. You will become more agile when using spearmanship. Breath lock, blue you can permanently lock the target attached to your grudge, no matter where you escape, you will be informed. However, if the strength gap between the two sides is too large, may be blocked. There are only 3 talents this time. But it looks like luck is good. Even God wants to make Boss Yao hate Northwest, so there is nothing to hesitate. Li Yiming muttered softly, and then directly chose the talent of breath lock. Now, it seems that he is not afraid of Oni Wu Tsuji Wen tearing open and running away. Ding, the talent selection is complete, and the real-life time travel simulation begins. The sound of the system sounded quietly. Before Li Yiming realized what was going on, he felt a blur in front of his eyes, and his vision became pitch black. After everything stabilized, he appeared in a familiar and strange place. In the dark night, there are stars and a bright moon hanging high in the sky. There was no one in the huge yard, only a man sitting on the edge of the house, wearing a fancy hat and a very bright coat, on this night. Extra obvious. Not only that, the malice emanating from that person makes one feel sick. He is already an old friend who has met many times in the simulated world, even if he witnesses it with his own eyes now, there is no sense of strangeness at all. We finally meet, Tong Mo, I have wanted to see you for a long time. Li Yiming stared at him with a faint smile, and said the name slowly. Chapter 71 Killing Tong Mo, Gui Wu Tsuji's miserable rage, thanks for the monthly ticket of Wu Po Kang Kaian Long Chi. When Li Yiming looked at Tong Mo, the latter also saw him. This made Tong Mo, who didn't feel too many emotional changes, startled for a moment, and then covered his cheeks with the folding fan in his hand, and slowly stood up from the floor. Oh, who are you? How did you get here? Tong Mo squinted his eyes and looked at Li Yiming's position quite interestingly. He couldn't sense any aura of Li Yiming, whether it was blood energy or so-called battle energy, it seemed as if they didn't exist, but he was clearly standing there. The weird phenomenon made Tong Mo a little puzzled. He had only seen this kind of situation in Shang Xianyi Si Mao's body. The next moment, Tong Mo felt that his thoughts were very absurd. He was just an ordinary human being, how could he still reach the level of His Excellency Fan Zimua? Simply whimsical. There is no need for us to continue chatting. If you want to know, you can get it yourself. Oh, it's really straightforward, so you are also a member of the ghost killing team? It doesn't seem to be Zhu, although I don't know how you found it here, but it's too young for mere people to want to kill me. Look at me a bit, so why not bring a woman over? Tong Mo's expression didn't change at all, but when he opened his eyes again, the big words on the eyeballs were already revealed. In the left eye is the winding string, and in the right eye it is a separate subtraction. Whether I can kill you or not will only be known after trying. Besides, you probably won't live until tomorrow. He, many human beings have said this before, but unfortunately, they all failed. The man was cut into pieces by me, and the woman was integrated with me and lived forever together. Today is no exception. When I take you down and give you to that lord, everything will come to light. Blood Ghost Art Frozen Cloud. With Tong Mo waving his folding fan, in an instant, a large number of ice crystals enveloped the entire courtyard like clouds, and most of them were heading towards Ji Shiming's place. The invasion of cold air froze the ground. Most importantly, the air was filled with ice crystals frozen from Tong Mo's own blood, almost invisible to the naked eye, and they also drifted silently towards Li Yiming's position. If it is accidentally inhaled into the lungs, not only will it be difficult to breathe, but even the alveoli will be necrotic. This is the true strength of Shangxian No. 2 Tong Mo. The blood ghost technique of the ice attribute, the natural restraint of breathing. If it weren't for this old boy who likes waves, with this kind of power, he would be almost invincible. Unfortunately, character defects are often more fatal. Breath of flame, unbridled shape, winding flame. The fierce flame rose instantly, and the scorching temperature instantly isolated the surrounding ice crystals. The moment the two touched, there was a fierce confrontation. When the flame was wiped out by the ice crystal was also melted by the flame, and then turn into water and flow to the ground. However, the color of this water is not normal in any way. Breath of flame. It's really a coincidence that I have met an old enemy, so it is even more impossible for me to let you go. Tong Mo narrowed his eyes again, and picked up a folding fan with his other free hand. Judging by his appearance, it seemed that he was going to choose to use all his strength. There is no need to continue this level of temptation. There is only one person who can leave here today. Li Yiming held the sun wheel knife, his face remained unchanged, and he probably understood Tong Mo's current strength. As he guessed, it was equivalent to an adventurer in the middle of LV.2. Even with the addition of strange means, the increase in combat power is not great. At least he is not afraid of the opponent's blood ghost technique. Under the transparent world, Tong Mo's every move can be seen very clearly. Whether it is the release of the ice crystals or the trajectory of the ice crystals, Li Yiming can clearly capture them, so there is no need to worry about being plotted against. Not to mention, he still has the breath of the sun that he hasn't used yet. But there is no way to use it. After all, if he uses the breath of the sun to kill Tong Mo cleanly and neatly, he will definitely be like a frightened bird when he sees everything from the screen before his death.